I'm standing over here, so I'm gonna lets me take the mask off for a little bit. This is a Quilt of Valor ceremony. It's wonderful that all of you folks have come out for this. We really appreciate that. And in this ceremony, we're going to recognize Bobbie. You know, I don't know how many of you may know this, but he got his name, B-O-B-B-I-E, because his mother wanted a girl. we should just be glad that she didn't name him Sue or Wendy or something like that, you know. But Bobbie is great. I loved that when he was telling me that. This is a relatively short ceremony, but it's filled with meaning and significance. And it's one way for the Sun City community. I represent the Honoring Our Veterans Club. Marge Thackeray here is with the Carolina Lakes Quilters, and together we work to do these presentations to the veterans in our community, and it's just one way for us to say thank you. We begin each one of these ceremonies with the Pledge of Allegiance, and today Rob is going to provide us with the American flags that are sitting on there on his truck. So if I could ask everyone to turn towards the flags, and we will say together, I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. Well, there's a couple of things I want to talk about. One of the things that I particularly have really enjoyed is reading some of the information that the veterans provide, and we have these unassuming veterans who have had these wonderful, in some cases, really remarkable experiences, and sometimes even their own family granddaughters may not be fully aware of what they did. But Bobbie served in the Navy from 1952 to 1956, and he was in a very select group. He was part of what was known as the Silent Service, and I think I've got this right. I checked it out. He was a submariner, not submariner. Don't ever say submariner. He was a submariner, and he served on the, it's actually SS, not US, but it's actually
SS 331.
SS 331, Bagara. Yes, Bagara. Now, this is really important to understand. This was not some foo-foo, nuclear, all kinds of nice stuff submarine. This was a World War II era. This sub saw service in World War II. This was a diesel boat with batteries. Only real men served on these subs.
Lots of batteries.
Lots of batteries. And so that is really something. And during his time in the service, he went on various patrols, and it was really interesting. He wrote about, now where were you? Here he is in this diesel boat, electric, electric motors to drive them when they're under the water, and they're spying on Russian ships, taking pictures. Where was that?
That was off the west coast of Russia.
Off the west coast?
The last island of Japan and Russia.
All right. So, think about that for a minute. We're talking what, 1954, 1955?
54.
Anybody that we were all just small children.
I was just born.
I was just born. Yeah, I was just born.
But that was a time where it may have been the Cold War, but it was still a time of great tension. And Bobbie, is making that service. He's serving on that boat, and he's out there, and they're taking pictures of the Russians. That just blows me. That's the stuff they make movies out of, people. Come on, this is great
Jack
stuff.
Ryan type stuff.
Jack Ryan, absolutely. But the last thing that I want to mention was we always ask the veterans, the last question is, what was your lasting memory? And I'm not surprised at all. I have, in fact, over my years, gotten to know one or two submariners. Without exception, when you ask them what's your fondest memory, it's the shipmates that they served with. And you think about on a submarine, the close quarters, the way that that crew has to work together to pull off the mission on a day-to-day basis, it's not surprising that you remember the people that you served with the most. And so it's really terrific to recognize the service that Bobbie has done for the country. And at this point, I'm going to turn it over to Marge, who's going to talk about the Quilt of Valor. Oh yeah, absolutely.
Most people don't know this, but to get your dolphins as a submariner, you have to go through the boat and be able to do every job that everybody does on that boat.
Wow.
Your Cobb, the chief of the boat, he takes you to each compartment. He'll point at something and say, what is that? You have to tell him what it is and how it works. And you have to do that all the way through the boat, or you don't qualify and get your dolphins.
Wow.
Well, and tell him you were getting ready to ship out, and the skipper of the boat said, you ain't going.
No, the Cayman was going to Tahiti, and I wanted to go to Tahiti. I hadn't been there. And I had about
I wonder
30,
why.
I had about 30 days to go, so I got a swap with another man on a different boat that had just shipped over for 6 years. So I figured no problem. I went to the exec and he says, no, we need somebody because we were going from Hawaii to San Diego. Most of the guys on the boat had family there and they had already got swaps. He says, I got to have somebody that's been to sea on this boat before. There were only 6 of us left. The rest of them had already transferred off.
Wow.
So I didn't get to go to Tahiti.
Marge?
Okay. I'm going to take mine off too so I can project my voice for everybody. My name's Marge Thackeray. I'm with the Carolina Lake Quilters, and it is our honor today to award you with your Quilt of Valor. Quilts of Valor began back in 2003 with Catherine Roberts. She had a son that was deployed in Iraq, and she had a dream of comforting those in war, those touched by war, those in need, servicemen with a quilt. And she began making quilts for veterans and servicemen, okay, saying that quilts equals healing. And to this day, over 260,000 veterans and servicemen throughout the United States and the world have received a Quilt of Valor. Here in Sun City, Carolina Lakes, the Quilt Club, with Honoring Our Vets, are committed to giving every veteran that would receive one a quilt. And we have about 700 to go.
Wow.
And that number keeps climbing. We're fortunate this year to be able to do these quilts this way. In the past, we've done a larger ceremony at the lodge, but because of social distancing and stuff, we can't do that. And I think you are the
30th. So he'll be the 28th.
28th veteran to receive one in 2020 in this method, this way. Now, a Quilt of Valor is a quilt that's made towards a specific size. It's made of cotton, and it's a sandwich. It's a sandwich of the front of the quilt, which is blocks, which may be made by one member of the community in our quilt club. It may be made by a number of quilters. This one was made by Chris Nicholas. Okay, she's the vice president of the quilt club. After the quilt top is made, it goes to Rob, who is our resident long armor, and he puts batting and backing on it and quilts it together. And then it returns to the person usually that made it, and she puts this other part on that's the binding that holds it all together. Okay. For it to be a Quilt of Valor, it needs to have a label. And the label is called Stars and Stripes. It was made by Chris Nicholas. It was quilted by Rob Ford, and it's presented to you, Bobbie Anglea. Anglea, is that how you?
Nothing.
Angel. Yeah.
That's so
Not
much
the way it's
easier.
spelled, but long
I like
story.
it. It's much easier. Bobbie Angel today, 11/25/2020. We present these, and this quilt will be registered, your name will be registered at the Quilts of Valor Foundation as a recipient. We give our veterans this sleeve. These are stars embroidered on a field of blue. These are done down in our own Gaffney, South Carolina. There's a huge embroidery machine placed down there that does all the fields of blue for American-made flags. Okay. We also have on these, either in the front or in the back, is what we call a signature quilt. Last spring, we started making these and asking members of the community to write a message to our veterans. Some of them are anonymous, some of them are signed. This one's anonymous, and it says, "Thank you for your years of service." Okay? Have I forgotten anything?
That's good.
I don't think so. Right now, I'd like to,
Well, you want to show them?
yeah, we are.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to show you this quilt.
Front and back.
Wow.
Here we go. This is your quilt.
Nice.
Okay. And I'm going to go this way.
Yep.
And this is your back. And this has a little bit of extra added to it.
Oh. Oh.
Janine did this for you.
I
Oh.
knew that.
You figured that, didn't you?
Let me just get down here. I'm videotaping it, so. Oh. Oh, geez, that's beautiful.
Great.
Just beautiful.
Okay, so now, whoop,
Thank you.
we're going to fold it, and Janine and your granddaughter. Wrap it over your
I'm just trying to
shoulders.
videotape it.
As we say, Bobbie Angel, thank you for your service and welcome home.
Thank you.
Oh.
Now, along with the quilt, there's a certificate, so let me give you that. That recognizes, it's got your name properly spelled, and today's date. So yeah,
Thank you very much.
No, get in there, get some pictures with the family.
You want to take your mask off up there for the picture? Well,
Just
you
for
can
the
leave yours
picture?
on. Yours is okay, but the girls.
Girls, take yours.
Okay. Just
Yeah, there you go. See that pretty smile. And if we could get a picture with just Bobbie.
Do you want the certificate in there? Or
Yeah,
Okay.
just like that. That's great.
awesome.
All right.
Thank you.
Well, as I said, it's a short but meaningful ceremony. Thank you so much for coming out.
Thank all the neighbors, I appreciate it.
And thank you, Bobbie.
Thank you.
Well done.
One